Cool. All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to the video. So I'm streaming right now, but I decided to post these medic reviews to my YouTube channel. I have this thread here called Post a Medic Demo, Get a Video Response. And if you post a demo, I'll give it a video response. So this demo that we're doing today is from PJC, who's an ETF2L Mid player. And I'm not like super familiar with the European metagame these days, but I'm going to do my best to give a demo review here and give some constructive criticism. If you guys have any questions who are watching the video, feel free to ask them in the comments below, and I'll try and help out. Anyone also in the stream chat, happy to answer those questions as well. So looks like we're playing a process game, and I don't really know where mid in ETF2L stacks up against ESCA players these days, but I'm going to put him as like an open player. I already like his positioning. He clearly knows where to stand on process mids, and he's doing a great job. You're doing a great job, PJC, of dodging spam. Decent rocket surf there. I love the positioning. You need to see that scout who's on your left who's pushing up. You kind of need to put heals into him. But other than that, like a really solid. You need to keep pushing because right now it is 5 versus 2, and you need to make sure their medic doesn't escape. So you're doing a great job. Push up to choke, cutting their medic off. Hipfire is destroying right now here. I really like this. This is really, really good. That's probably about as good of middle as you can possibly see out of any medic. So that was really, really solid. Looks like you guys are choosing to take your Uber out of rollout. Right here, you could have spent a little bit more time buffing your other teammates before you started that push. Right now, you're just kind of tanked on that pocket soldier, but you could have been buffing your scout. You could look behind you. It's a really quick swipe movement. Just buff those players up. I also noticed you're playing a little bit too conservative right here. Like, your positioning is just too safe. You need see where your pocket soldier is up there against the wall. That's where you want to be standing because it allows you to Uber the person up against the doors. Like, if your Uber has worn off, I completely understand you being passive. But if your Uber is active and you have full Uber advantage, you want to be pushed up right up against the doors, Ubering anybody who could possibly die from your team. But, I mean, that was a complete roll of a round, so really solidly played. Looks like you're not putting enough heals into your roaming soldier on the rollout here. So that could be improved. You put a little bit too much heals into your scout on that rollout. You want to heal your scouts at the last possible second. Nice air shot from your soldier there. Wow. Bomb comes in from the soldier. Oh, unfortunate. That's a really unfortunate. I think your positioning could have been better there. One of the things I'm noticing on both the first and the second middles is that you pocket your demo man on mid fights a little bit too much. At the beginning of a mid fight, you want to put the healing on your demo man and make sure he's stabilized, meaning not going to die that mid. Once your demo man is stabilized and not going to die, immediately put your heals onto your scouts, because by then you're about 5 seconds into the mid fight. Your scouts would have had their buffs deteriorating, and you need to reactivate your scouts to make sure that they can continue putting pressure on the enemy team and clean up frags. In addition, your scouts will help you with that roaming soldier, so you should be pocketing your scouts instead. Demo man can't fend off the roaming soldier as well. I like your choice here to back off of middle. You know they have full Uber advantage over you, and you can't do anything to fight them. Your team did a 4-man sacrifice and didn't get an Uber force. That's really, really poor. But not a whole lot you could do there, so... looks like your demo man is pocketing you once again. I think that demo man is a better class for doing a 4-man sack than a scout is, so I would have preferred that your demo man did the sack and the scout was the one to build with you. The demo man could do just like a big sticky jump and get that force probably better than a scout can if you're going to go for a 4-man sack. I don't know why your scout partner over there on your left is taking some of your Uber on even Ubers like that at the early part of the Uber. At the late part of the Uber, it's okay, but the early part, not good. So, better communication with your team. You want that solo Uber to be a true solo Uber, at least for the first 4 seconds of the Uber. And that's why you're not able to push out of the situation, because you had wasted your Uber on that scout. You just couldn't do anything with that Uber. That Uber seemed very defensive. Like, you popped and you were holding back by your spawn doors. Like, you expected to potentially lose that fight, or you didn't have any intention of pushing out. You can actually push out on those Uber exchanges if you get a frag or two. And the way you're going to be able to get a frag or two is when they Uber in, you kite, and then like when you pop, you want to be right up against those choke points, putting pressure on the enemy team and trying to break through the choke points and get a frag. Once the Uber's about to wear off, you can retreat back to your second point, or to your last point. You guys have a frag here. You guys should be peeking for a counter sack. Looks like Kaul, I don't know how to say yours, Kaul is going for that counter sack, but at a higher level, you should be peeking up and helping him out. So you should be buffing your demo man, buffing your pocket soldier, pushing up and throwing spam into the second point. It doesn't cost you anything at all, and it increases the chances of your roaming soldier getting a good counter sack. On like the really high level teams, sometimes the roaming soldier gets denied and the pocket soldier goes for the counter sack because he's at 300 health. But yeah, you guys are just playing super conservative right now. All right, so good pick here and another opportunity counter sack. See how your pocket soldier's pushing up? You need to do the exact same thing. See, the thing is, when it's 5-on-6 like this, the odds of them going for a second counter sack, like a two-man sack, is very low. So once that first guy dies, you can immediately begin walking forward and try and go for that counter sack. Help your team out. A lot of times I'll position myself towards lobby and try and buff my roaming soldier before he goes for the jump. But if you're playing conservatively and you don't want to risk your life or risk your Uber, you can poke up to rollout too. Rollout's very safe for counter sacks. So you guys went for the two-man counter sack after Epi respawn, which is pretty questionable. At this point, they're just going to push in like they should. And all right, you're pocketing your demo once again. I think that's the difference between the European meta and the North American meta, is that there's a little bit more emphasis on pocketing the demo man. It's going to work out here. You guys are doing just fine. But you see your scouts need a crit heal there. Oh! Yeah. So you really need to crit heal your scouts. Again, the demo man is not going to protect you against bombing soldiers. He just simply cannot do that. And you cannot expect your scouts to be body blocking those soldiers and taking hits for you if you're not buffing them. The demo man, your demo man just took the entire Uber too. There's no reason you should be needing to arrow him after the end of the Uber. So I see that as a miss. Still pocketing demo man as you guys walk out a shutter. This is fine. Soldier bombs in. Put your heals on that scout, please. Scout's the most overpowered class in the game right now, and not enough heals are going into him. You are way overcommitted, my friend. You very much deserve that death. Okay. So how would you solve that in the future? In the future, recognize that that roaming soldier tried to bomb you. He shot a rocket. He's already used 2 rockets. You know he needs to hit both rockets perfectly to kill you. So as soon as he misses the first rocket, just start running forward. Like, he's got to hit 2 perfect rockets, 2 directs on you to kill you. So you can just run up, heal your scouts, which you recognize to do a little bit late, and then you walked forward. And at that point, you just overcommitted when your scout had taken shots and was at half health. If you buff your scouts, I'm telling you, you're going to have a much easier time against roaming soldiers. All right, back on last again, 30% advantage, but no demo man. The red team should probably be dry pushing in that situation when there's no demo man, but they're letting you get away with it. I also like this strategy here. You got Kaul is going for the that arrow building tactic to get you Uber faster than the other team. I really like that. Just be careful when you're doing that you don't get sniped out, but I think your team has it covered. You're going for the push. Wow, so ballsy. I really like this. Go for it, guys. Go for it. Wait. You're not really putting... Let me draw a quick diagram for you. So, if you imagine a control point like the second control point, so it would look like this. Sorry, I need to make it bigger. So if you imagine the second control point looking like this, right? So kind of like there's a doorway here and there's like a shutter door here, right? That's choke point. This is choke. So when you Uber right here, 8 seconds later, the farthest place you could possibly get to is here, right here. And that's not good enough because you had that second point under control anyways. You don't want to be Ubering here. The best place to possibly Uber is actually here. You want to Uber here because that gets you through the choke point. See, Ubers are amazing choke point breaking tools. This choke point is very hard to get through without an Uber. But this area, like once you're here, you have all this space to work with, all this space to dodge. You shouldn't need to pop an Uber from this position. Does that make sense? So you really don't want to be using an Uber here. Now, if you're using the Uber, like if I can zoom out and go down even further to the first point, if you're using the Uber like here behind the shutter door, I understand, because this is a choke point. This is the problem that I described earlier. If you use the Uber to break through a choke point, it's a good Uber. If you're using the Uber after you've gone through the choke point and it's very far back, like you're already through, it's kind of a bad Uber. If that's the case, if you need to be Ubering here, just delay to here. So the play kind of looks like this. Your teammates are coming through this doorway and one of your teammates steps up to the plate. You push up with your teammate to step up to the plate, but then you immediately back up and stand right here. You're not going to get forced. These guys will make all the space for you. You stand back, don't use the Uber. Their team's already scared of the Uber, so they're just going to back out. I hope that wasn't too high level, but the point I'm trying to make here is that you should not be using Ubers so early. And I've noticed this happened a couple times to you now. They're going to come in with a much better Uber, clear you guys out. Yeah. One thing that you can do with those Ubers, going back on my original point, is that you can use the threat of Uber to scare them and create space for yourself. You don't have to Uber necessarily to be effective. You can just scare them into backing away from you because they're scared of getting Ubered on. So this is probably a lost round because they have Uber advantage, but you guys could potentially hold it. Your team's gotten some good frags here. Hipfire goes for a really ballsy force, or whatever that was. I don't really agree with that play, because they could potentially push 6-on-5 and Uber advantage into you now. I think Hipfire, the better play for him would have been to just start setting up a sentry gun. I notice you guys don't have a sentry gun, and they have 30% advantage. So this team's actually, I can see what you mean. Like, I can see that other team is also like a mid ETF2L team. They're letting their 30% Uber advantage fade away. A higher level team wouldn't let that happen. So they're finally starting to push now. And now you're backing away. You use Uber, they use Uber. I see how you're kind of holding off, you're kind of scared. It's going to work for you guys. You have 3 frags. But you could be getting so much more out of your Ubers if you just played aggressively. You're like, when the Uber comes off, try and figure out who's winning and then make a decision. You already got 1 frag, so it's 6-on-5. Theoretically speaking, in a 6-on-5, your team should win every single time. In a 6-on-4, your team should win every single time. In a 6-on-3, your team should win every single time. So once you get into those 6-on-3 situations, you should all in. You should fully commit, knowing that without a shadow of a doubt, you're going to win that fight. Because if you fully commit to it, you're going to get way more frags than you ever thought possible. You could actually kill their medic if you would have committed to that. They use Uber there. You're kiting. You're playing this beautifully right now. I don't think you needed to pop that. Your scout was in no danger of dying and you weren't either. And see, this is the exact same problem I described earlier, right? You had full Uber advantage over the enemy team and you didn't use your Uber to break a choke point. So that's a mistake. Yeah, in fact, they're going to turn it right back around on you guys. Whoa. You had played it so well at the start of that. Your scout surfed damage away from the threat. And then you popped Uber anyways. It's just a miscommunication. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I think if you take this tip that I'm giving you, you'll be like so much more effective in games. I'm telling you, man. Just Uber through choke points. If it's not through a choke point, try really, really hard not to Uber. That'll probably increase the effectiveness of your gameplay threefold. So if you use Ubers through choke points, and then the second one being deliver heals to the front lines when you're winning. If you're losing, play super passive, play super safe. bait all of your teammates, keep them all in front of you. That's perfect. But if you're winning, you can win even harder. Looks like they're gonna Uber in. You're kiting away, trying to get Uber in time to defend last point. You're playing really, really well so far. Oh, unfortunately dropping your soldier, but still really, really beautiful. And look how far forward you are with your heals. I really, really like that. You're only doing it because there's a soldier behind you, but that's exactly what you should be doing. Oh, I think I've seen you do this twice now, where a soldier is directly over you. There's no reason to try and run under the soldier like you're playing limbo or something. Actually, the better thing to do is to run away from the soldier. Put distance between you and the soldier. It makes it harder for him to kill you. Because even if he does direct hit you, there's damage fall off on rockets. And what that means is, like, the farther you are away from the rocket, the less damage it does to you. So by running underneath him, you're actually putting yourself closer to the soldier, making it easier for him to do more damage to you and kill you. But if you run away from the soldier, he might hit like a splash rocket on you or something and do only 30 damage. Alright. They're going to pop Uber in. And you guys are so close to getting Uber. I really like this play. You guys are doing it really, really well. The way you're kiting these Ubers is beautiful. Great job flashing. But, yeah. You guys really need a scout here, but it's hard to get frags without a scout. Now you have a scout. You're playing so safe. It's 4 versus 1. There's no way you can possibly die. You should be fully committing your body. Okay. I think I've seen enough here to help you out. I'm trying something new with my demo reviews where I don't do the whole demo review because I feel like it's information overload. But I think you have enough information here to practice on your next scrim. So the first thing I would do, only Uber through choke points. Second thing I would do, when you're winning, run forward, fully commit, and put your heals on your scouts, because that's actually one of the strongest things in the game right now is healing scouts. You move really, really quickly. It increases your survivability, actually, if you can run up and heal scouts. So when Hipfire is running forward, trying to get those frags, try and catch up to him, heal him, and let him keep chasing. Because if they decide to engage, that slows them down. That prevents them from escaping. Your team can catch up to you and overwhelm them. But the way you're playing is so safe right now in those 4 versus 1s, you're not really able to generate momentum. What you want to be doing is generate momentum, and that carries you through. So when you win a team fight, don't just think about, okay, we won the team fight. Yay, we're holding last. Like, take it a step further and just say, like, look, we won the team fight and we're already pushing the next point. And we're getting 2 kills, and we're already pushing the next point. So now you just turned winning 1 team fight where you wipe their team into 3 capture points. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get really, really greedy. So I'm encouraging you to be like way, way more greedy with your gameplay, because I just see it being very, very safe right now. And I think that if you play too safe as a medic, it actually prevents your team from winning situations. So that's all I got for this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment in the video below. Don't forget to like. See you guys next time.